Hello everyone, it's Brandon here and welcome back to another video here on the Pilot Stud channel. Today I am talking about the recent update to the Expert Series ATR, Aircraft and Avionics Update 2, which is set to bring some much needed improvements to the default 747 and 787 before I share my thoughts on the Transall C160 by AzurPoly and the Alouette 3 by Taog's Hangar, two recently released payware aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I'll be sharing my thoughts on in the later part of this video. Without further delay, let us get right into this rather exciting Microsoft Flight Simulator news episode. The ATR 42 and 72, made by the Hans Hartmann team in partnership with Asobo, was released only 15 days ago. It had a varied reception, but in my opinion, its value could not be beaten. Now, I would be lying to you all to say there was no issues with it, but all in all, I was impressed and continue to enjoy it. Well, yesterday afternoon, version 1.0.8 was released to the public and brings about some much needed fixes and improvements. Now, this update is available right now from the content manager, and there is a rather extensive list of bug fixes, changes and improvements that focus on fixing some of the issues many were experiencing upon release of this payware aircraft. And while I confess to not having enough time to test this aircraft just yet, the initial community reaction seems to be overwhelmingly positive. It is by no means perfect, but some bugs have definitely been squashed. Key improvements that have been implemented include on the VNAV vertical navigation system within the autopilot. The MCDU performance page has received some bug fix TLC, and I had a good chuckle at this fix of the air conditioning no longer cooking passengers. Let's just hope most of you guys stuck to flying routes in the Arctic Circle. Now, while I do try and keep my ear to the ground as much as possible, I cannot speak for all of you, so please do let me know how this update on the ATR has been for you. Feel free to let us all know in the comments. In my eyes, any update that improves anything, however big or small, is a good update, and I think this shows how keen Asobo are to actually make this Expert Series aircraft very good. Is it Expert Series at that point? Well, that's not a judgment for me to necessarily make. I have never flown in an ATR. Now, moving swiftly on to some very exciting news. Well, first off, let's trace your mind back a few months ago and you will remember Aircraft Avionics Update 1, which brought some significant changes to 3 aircraft in the sim: the CJ4, the Cessna Citation Longitude and the TBM 930. Now, this was a superb update, overhauling these default aircraft in a way that brings them much closer to real life and definitely took some reliance on external add-ons away. Well, last week on the development stream, we learnt that the next aircraft to receive AAU treatment will be the Boeing 747-8 and the Premium Deluxe Boeing 787-10, all in Aircraft Avionics Update 2. And what fantastic news this is. These aircraft really do need some attention, and seeing as Asobo are working in partnership with Working Total for this, like me, it should definitely put a smile on your face. Now, improvements will of course focus on the systems of these aircraft. It's in the name, from VNAV and LNAV being overhauled to FMC updates and new flight models. There was a pretty long list on the stream, and I've been sharing parts of it on your screen over the last minute or so. Now, let me just take this as a moment to thank the Heavy Division and Salty Simulations teams for their efforts on improving the 747 and the 787 almost since day one of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Hats off to you guys. Aircraft Avionics Update 2 is set for release on June the 23rd, which is coincidentally when I will be at FS Expo. I hope to see many of you there. But Aircraft Avionics Update 2 will be available as a beta update shortly. In my opinion, this is some of the best news we've heard this year. These aircraft really did need some improvements, so some very good news right here. So there is the two massive news stories I've featured on today's video, but now we move on to 2 aircraft reviews, only quick little ones, to inform some of you on the recent releases for the sim. Now kicking it off with the Transil C160 by AzurPoly, a French twin prop heavy lift military aircraft. A bit of a tongue twister there. This was released on both PC and Xbox, available for around $33 on the marketplace, and I have to say, this is an absolute gem. I've really enjoyed flying around with it. It looks stunning both inside and out, and is a beast to fly, quite frankly, with the two propellers chucking out some very significant power. Sounds are also a real highlight, as well as an impressive EFB and special effects such as flares. For the price, it's very refreshing to see. It's definitely one of the best aircraft of its kind, but then thinking about other aircraft like this, I think we've only really got the Captain Sim C130, and dare I say anything more there. So it's great to see a proper heavy lift aircraft. Future improvements will see the implementation of weather radar once a servo allows, and a complex hydraulic system also being modelled, featuring 5 separate circuits of the hydraulic system. A future video will be coming soon, taking a more extensive look at the AzurPoly Transil C160, but as of now, I very much do recommend it. I'm not going to tell you to buy it because I never really do, but I can personally recommend it. Now, sticking with the French military theme, I move over to the Alouette 3, a vintage French military helicopter recently released by a team under the name of Taog's Hangar. This is another beautiful bit of payware, which is up for grabs for around £22 UK off flightsim.to, which comes in at a price of $27 to $28 And if you like helis, well, please do check it out. Besides from being the first taxiable helicopter in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it certainly packs a punch as a payware add-on with some of the best sounds I've ever heard in the sim. Trust me, the blades snapping in the air sound awesome, to an excitingly challenging flight model. Now, I have made a full review of this helicopter, so if that takes your fancy, please do check it out. Here's a link in the top right corner of this video. Two fantastic aircraft, both French and both military, so we are having a bit of a theme. Please do let me know what's been your favourite bit of today's video. I hope I've kept it short, concise and informative for you all. On that note, thanks so much for watching. It's been a pleasure to have you here today. I'll see you around. Bye bye.